We'd like to welcome each and every individual to Voices of Integrity. And today we're going to be going through just an amazing video, a review of it. Hopefully, you've really internalized, creating happiness in that first video, and then the crazy dancing man video, right? And then the founder, that was cool. And then to stop it, that's neat. And so the what is the true cost of procrastination? This video, it's impossible to put into words. I have not figured out how to put into words the significance that this video has had on my life. It's just altered everything. So, what do you guys think about the video?
Well, I thought it just clarified a lot of things. It just brought it more. I mean, it was there at the surface. I knew about it, but it didn't resonate with me until I actually heard him say the words and heard how he corresponded between the difference of the gratification monkey and the panic monster, and then bringing it together and understanding that there's really not just a certain type of person that procrastinates. It's everybody in general does it, but we all do it in a different way, and it's all towards a different thing or about a different thing.
Except one person in your life.
Yeah, you.
The driver.
So, no, there's lots of drivers, but there's a special driver. So, you learned today that I don't procrastinate.
Yes.
So, does anyone have any questions on that?
Do you think you procrastinate?
Yeah, good question. Theoretically, everyone procrastinates, right?
True.
So theoretically, yes. But I don't know. I mean, I told Elaine, she says, was that procrastination earlier? I said, no, it was prioritization. So interesting. Anybody else have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting, like how the two deadlines can impact your life. Oh, sorry, the two types of procrastination really do direct your life, but it's essentially how you tackle the procrastination. So you're the director of your life. You're the one who essentially navigates that procrastination, I feel like.
So does this answer you guys is if you don't participate early on the podcast and late before we start the official podcast, we'd kind of get together and what does everyone want to accomplish, and we talk off the record. If you're not here before and after, you're missing so much. So I'm just saying, and you don't get that on the recording. You got to be on the live session to join early. So there were some things that Elaine and Cheryl said, and there were some things that Ken said. And does that connect the dots, Ken and Elaine and Cheryl, for all of you?
Yep. In other words, you don't let it take control of your life.
No, you said something else about Andrea.
Yeah, I said that I want to get to know her because well, I'm not sure how I worded it. Anyway, she connects with you or you connect with her. So the way I understood what she said about the procrastination comes back to what you were telling me earlier, that you don't procrastinate, which in turn, how I would understand it is because you don't let it control your life.
I think it's like what I do is I prioritize. So that went ahead and happened, I don't know, well, it's happened my whole life, but really, it really came, and I don't want to distract from this because maybe I'll swing back. If you guys, the Black Hawk helicopter principle, bring that in sometime. But anyways, so Ken, does this help you and what you wanted to accomplish today?
Maybe a little.
So what'd you learn about Andrea, or what'd you learn about me?
Andrea does her assignments.
Okay.
Andrea, it seems like Andrea's cute to me.
Right. When we say cute, we're not, we're not talking physically. I mean, I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying we're not, because that might get somebody into trouble, and we don't want to get anybody into trouble. What we're saying is it's cute energy. Like it's like there's something very attractive about her energy, where her energy draws people in. And so again, when you're a white male over 50, you gotta be really careful what you say. Whoa, don't want anything misunderstood there. So there's something,
unless you don't care.
well,
I'm okay.
And if you're not married or
No, I'm not.
so we won't go down a rabbit hole here in we don't. Anyways, we won't go there.
oh,
He
here's a
teases,
rabbit hole. I'll
he,
give you a rabbit hole.
he
We gotta
teases
have
and taunts. So anyways, so there's something that, so Andrea resonates on a frequency with me that, even my brother does not resonate. So I have a deeper relationship with Andrea than I do my brother, which is, it just takes his whole paradigm and just crushes it. It's like, what? How could he have a deeper Andrea, we've had, I don't know, I haven't counted them. I think we've had 2 or 3 Zoom calls together, and we've had a couple handful of emails together. And so it's only been a couple weeks that we've known each other. So how do I have a deeper relationship with you, Andrea, than my brother? Like, doesn't that just mess up your entire paradigm, Ken? Not so much.
Yeah, I don't know. It
Yeah.
might not. I'm not sure
Yeah.
if it does or not.
So Ken's got his seminary degree. So he's, and he was a pastor for 10 years. And he went ahead and, he went through the bachelor's degree and the master's degree because he wanted to do something in life, and he got all this education for it. And then he came back, and then he said, you're messing with my paradigm. You're messing up. I'm like, okay, what does that mean? He's like, you have the ability. I went to seminary to do this and this and this. You have the ability to do more in a week than I do, in a year. It's like, interesting, right? So that's what, older brothers are do, is to just smash the paradigms of their younger brothers. So Ken has a specific methodology, his analytic, about deep relationships. So he has got, I think he's got 3 or 4 or 5 points, 3 to 5 points. He says, this is my theory about deep relationships. And so he wants to buy into that theory. So Andrea resonates at a frequency level with me that very few people resonate, and she picked it up in the video. Questions? Other thoughts that people have on the video? So Andrea,
I listened to it,
go ahead.
when I listened to it, and it said that people who procrastinate live in the present. and it's hard for them to remember the past, or they're not ready for the future. I live that way all the time. And so how do you have, how does personalities that have that tendency get past the procrastination part?
So what Rosanna's talking about is perspective on time. And so you have, the past, which the analytic tends to go ahead and fixate on. Often it's actually the wrong things. You guys being such a curious group of people, you're like, what does that mean, Mark? Thanks for asking. They often focus in on hurt and pain that other people have caused them, and they have struggle taking ownership of their part of it. So when you think about, which it seems like very few people think about, what's the purpose of the past? I think it's two purposes. One is to have fond memories of the past.
And one
Right,
is to learn.
Right, Elaine?
Yes, Mark.
I don't even, Elaine teases me a lot. So I don't know, I don't know how deep to go with Elaine today.
Yeah, me neither.
So, so Elaine and I travel at a high frequency together. Like our flow is like, she knows what I'm thinking. She knows what I'm going to do often before, anyone else. Or she knows what I'm doing when other people don't. So Rosanna, with you being a deep, amiable personality, you're going to be focused in on the short term or the immediate right here and the now. I was talking to a new friend of mine, Christopher, and he went ahead and said, Mark, you don't allow your feelings to drive you. And he just said that. And I said, actually, my feelings are everything that drives me. I said, I just don't allow my feelings to control me. He said, that's true. I can see that about you. So why am I so driven? It's because of my feelings. It's not because of how I think. It's because of my feelings. Why do I have such powerful and potent feelings? Is it because of the conversation I had when I was 8 years old? Does it connect back into how I was created in my mother's womb? Does it connect with my 4 daughters and my wife? Like I don't know the answer to that. So my feelings are what drives me. My thoughts are what helps me to make sure that my feelings are not harming me or people around me. Questions? So there's a new model that's being worked on, and it's going to have little bumps, I think, in the path or gaps or something. So there's things, if we don't heal, it seems like if we don't heal, like emotionally, we become midgets in that area. It's the strangest thing. It's like a tree that's got its limb cut off, Other thoughts from people on other thoughts about the video on procrastination?
I know in the past I've watched this and the whole thing at the end on how many dots we have in our
Right?
lives.
Was that cool or what?
Right. And how we fill those dots, what we fill them with.
I love when he said, like, there's a different type, and Andrea connected to this. Like, it's like, I knew she would get it. I knew it. I knew she would get it. I could feel it. There's two types of procrastination. And the one we're really familiar with, the other one, not so much. Where later in life, people wake up and realize they're a spectator in their own life. I'm like, that is so true. Oh my goodness. So I was observed when I was in my 20s and 30s how men in their 60s have so many regrets.
Yeah, I think also like people just get so caught up in like how they want to achieve so many things throughout their life, but not knowing how to essentially do it. And so I think personally it's just focusing on one aspect of your life you want to improve and just putting all your energy into that because it's so hard to just to try to do everything. You're only one person.
So, Andrea teases me. I mean, she does. It's like, because what she's saying, I totally get. I'm like, yes, what she's saying is true. But there's another whole dimension out there, another whole world, another whole realm out there that like I want to introduce her to. So, other questions or thoughts?
I'm not sure, but about the man as a speaker, I think he's like you, just controlling the situation and just pulling the fact that everybody can relate. And how can we judge that they are just laughing and this is the reason? He is just crazy. I was just curious that how can uh, a man be like this type, like you, in this situation, like you are controlling the situation, the meeting. It's just crazy. I am just wondered how can I achieve that?
Well, you do what you're doing right now, Adam, and that is you're interacting.
Yeah,
You're jumping in and you're participating. So one of the things that Andrea wants to do is Andrea wants to be more outgoing. And so how is she going to do that? It's going to come through practice. So it's going to
right.
come through practice. It's going to, it's going to go ahead and it's going to be, she's going to have to practice it. She's going to have to put herself out there. And when she does, she's going to find out two things. One is people aren't paying as much attention to her as she thinks they are. So she can be silly or goofy or whatever she wants to be. And it's fine. It's not a big deal. And two, when she does look stupid or goofy or whatever she does, it's okay. It's not a big deal. Like when you fall down, it's not a big deal. Anybody else have any thoughts on the video? So why do you think that video is like impacted me? Like I remember thinking throughout the whole video when he says, well, we're all procrastinators. I'm like, are we? Am I? And he seems like a procrastinator. But it's like, so why does that video impact me so much, so significantly? But it doesn't seem like it's life-changing for other people.
I think maybe it makes you question yourself, like who you are as a person, like professionally and even like personally in your own life. Just makes you like wonder, like, am I a procrastinator? Or like maybe like in some way you relate to the video in regards to like some aspects of it.
I couldn't as it related to procrastination.
Yeah. Maybe I feel like you've talked about this several times about your professional life, like how you've accomplished so many great things, but what about your personal life? Maybe you've procrastinated things going on that aspect you've wanted to achieve.
I don't think I've done that either.
No?
No. No, it's interesting because my mom, when I was 19 years old and engaged, my mom said to me, she said, Mark, I'm concerned for you. I get that a lot. A lot of people are concerned. Well, maybe more than ever. But she said, I said, why are you concerned? She said, I'm concerned that you're a workaholic. She said, you come from a very, very strong, like both sides of the family are hard workers. She said, you're like a hard worker on steroids. I'm concerned that you're not going to go ahead and spend the time with your wife and kids, your future children that you should. I said, okay, Mom. Again, I'm 19 years old. So I'm a teenager. And she says, I just want you to remember one thing, Mark. I've never met anybody on their deathbed that said they wish they spent more time working. And I said, that's interesting, Mom. Let me ask you a question. So have you ever had anybody on their deathbed that said they spent enough time with their family? And she's like, well, no. I'm like, so what you're telling me, Mom, is no matter how much time I spend with my family, it's never enough. And she's like, well, no, that's not what I was trying to teach you, Mark. That one conversation changed my life forever. And so 8 years later, that was like that one conversation at 19 when I had implanted a seed that went ahead and 8 years later grew into what's called action vision now. It's like discovering your life vision, what you're put on this planet, what you were created for, and then building your entire life and all the actions around that vision so you live a life of intention. So, the next podcast is going to be a bit more intense. So definitely you want to listen to that one too. It's going to be in the Voices of Integrity for passions. And so, like this video, I'm telling you, is magical. I mean, there's so much humor in it. I wonder if it almost distracts people and they say, oh, that's a cute video. Oh, that's kind of neat. And they don't understand the significance of it. I mean, when he said, I got this out to all the people and I got all these responses from blogging. I got all these responses and I was surprised as to like I wrote this lighthearted blog and there's all of these people that are coming back. So what I learned at 19 is to live a life of intentionality, to be super, super intentional about what we do. So on the next one, on the next podcast, Andrea, you're going to be able to stay around for the next podcast too?
Oh, there's another one?
Uh-huh. This one's a
Oh,
half an hour, and then there's another one for a half an hour.
sure.
Okay. And is it okay if we share your life vision, your passion and life vision circle with everybody in the world?
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Okay, cool. So do you all understand why there's such a connection to Andrea that I have?
She seems to trust you.
Right? So
Sure, put it out for everybody. It's okay.
right? And she's got a cool passion circle, and it's, you know, it's very detailed. It's got a lot in it. And it's like, do you mind if we share that with everybody, in the world, the 8 billion plus people? No, it's fine. Yeah, no, go ahead. But it seems like her energy is quiet and reserved and thought out. It seems like, so it jams people's senses. She's not one of those people that seems to be just flippant or, yeah, whatever. Like, it's not that. She's thoughtful. She's, in some ways, her energy is guarded, but in other ways, something different. Something very, very different. Anybody else have any other closing thoughts?
Yeah. So I have a question. If we want our panic monster to turn into a motivational monster to think rationally, how can we do that?
You may have asked a question, Adam, that we might do a part 2 on this, and that's how good this is. But it's not that good if people aren't really, looking at it. I mean, I would write down, Adam, and put in, the description of this one here in the discussion. Allow or insist. Maybe that's insist that your feelings drive you and your thinking doesn't like your thinking prevents your feelings from controlling you. Like, your feelings are so powerful, you want it to drive things, but you don't want your feelings to control things, control you, which I think for most people it does. And so I think that actually connects back in. So Adam, connect these podcasts, the one we're going into, because it might go ahead. We might actually touch on that. I think that might actually be answered in that one, which would be really cool. So unbelievable conversation. Definitely can't wait to go ahead and get to the next one. Oh, this one is another life changer. If you want it to change your life. If you don't, well, then it's just a fun, kind of cool video. Any questions, connect with the individual who invited you to participate in today's session, or you can call toll free 888-230-2300, outside the US 630-393-9909. And always remember, we can accomplish so much more together than we ever could on our own. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.